Hi friends, welcome to our Identity series. This is a 10-part video series on what it looks like to live secure in our identity in Jesus Christ. What does it look like to live believing the truth and not the lies? What does it look like to know you're in right standing with God every day, no matter what? I want to encourage you to subscribe to this YouTube channel because that way you will not miss out on any videos in our 10-part series. Now, here's another episode of our Identity series. Hope you enjoy it. Hi friends, this is our final video in our Identity series, and we're calling this one A Child of My Father in Heaven. This is our final video, and the title of this one is A Child of My Father in Heaven. You know, we all have a father on the earth. All of us have a father that we came from. But do you know that there is also a heavenly Father? There is a God in heaven that chose to deem and describe himself as a heavenly Father. You know, as far as I can tell, that's the only religion in the whole world where there's actually a God that references himself as a father that unconditionally loves. World religions offer a God. World religions offer a deity that's to be worshipped, that's to be given honor and obeyed. And that's true of the God of Christianity. But the God of Christianity says, hey, not only is he almighty and you should follow him, serve him and obey him, but he also is a father, and he also wants to call you his own and wants to call you his son or daughter. That is a remarkable idea, and that is completely different from the religions of the world. You know, it's different when you're a servant to being a child. A servant is different from a child. A servant lives to fulfill the instructions and requirements of his or her master. A servant lives to carry out the duties that have been assigned to them. That is something that a servant seeks to do. A servant goes about his or her day seeking to fulfill what's required of him or her. Whereas a child receives. A child actually receives unconditional love, meaning, a sense of identity, a sense of destiny, resources. A child actually receives from his father, his or her father. They actually receive great things, identity and purpose from their father. You know, a servant has to perform in order to remain in good standing with their master. A servant has to be carrying out their tasks, and not only carrying out their tasks, but carrying out their tasks in an excellent way. They have to be fulfilling the requirements and doing it really well. A servant is mindful of carrying out tasks, of carrying out requirements, necessary requirements. But a child actually knows that no matter what, my father is for me. No matter what happens, even if I do well, or even if I don't do well, my father is for me, behind me, and is actually is favoring me, is giving to me unconditionally, and is not withholding love from me no matter what. A child lives in unconditional love and knows that the provision, the sense of favor, the sense of purpose and destiny that is being instilled in the child is unconditional no matter what happens. So a child is not seeking to perform. A child is seeking to always to rest in belonging. A child seeks to rest in belonging and is not always performing for goodness, for a sense of identity, not performing for reimbursement. A child lives from a rest of knowing that they are loved, favored, valued, and have a sense of meaning and purpose and destiny no matter what. You know, it was always said about me as a boy, as a teenager, that you look exactly like your father. Matthew, you look exactly like your dad. That was just said to me over and over again. And even to this day, people see photos of me now, and they maybe see a photo of my dad, and then they look at the two photos and they're like, whoa, that's like splitting image of your dad. Like it's just been constant my whole life that people have said, you look exactly like your dad. And what's really amazing is that for the person that's entrusted their life to Jesus, the person that said, Jesus, I'm following you. I believe that you died on the cross, that you rose from the grave. I receive your love. I receive your forgiveness. I give my life to you. That person has actually received a new heart and a new life. And actually that person has been, it says, the language is put into Christ. Not only has Christ come into them, but they are put into Christ and given a new heart, a heart of flesh. And you know what it even says? Is it says the Father in heaven looks at that person exactly like they are Jesus. The Father looks at that man or woman exactly as if he is looking at Jesus. They look like their dad. You know, I'm not perfect, but I have a Father in heaven, and the Father in heaven says to me, son, you look like me. I know I'm not perfect. God knows I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but when he looks at me, he says, you look like me. You look like me, and it's because of Jesus. It's because of my son Jesus. You are now righteous. You are now in right standing. And the Father says, when I look at you, Matt, I see my son. You look like me. And that is an amazing place to live from. And we can all have that, not because we deserve it, not because we're awesome, because we did an amazing job in our life, but because of what Jesus did on the cross and his resurrection. If we come to Jesus, we can be like Jesus, and God looks at us like he looks at his own son. You know, this is our final video in the series, and I hope that this series has been a great benefit to you and really encouraged you in your own identity. And this is the final of the 10 videos, but we're excited to be producing more video series in the coming weeks and months, and they're right around the corner. So I want to ask you to click like if you enjoyed this video series. If you like this video and the other videos in the series, would you click like? And I also want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel, because we're going to be producing other series on different topics, different subjects, and I really believe that they're going to be a great benefit to you and really help you. And so I'd encourage you to subscribe as well. Keep an eye out that way. That way you'll keep an eye out for future video series. Hope it's been an encouragement to you, and we'll see you soon.